Okay, so we are going to try to wrap up what we were working on, which is the why the Rav has to be Hagun, why he has to have good midos in order to learn from him. Oh, I forgot to open the document with that. Hilchos Talmud Torah 4:1-2. Yeah.
Also, part of what we started seems like it's a hiding stage.
Yeah, right. So our questions were, what is the standard? What does it mean to be don't the Malach Hashem? So we did see that in the Rambam in the Pirush Mishnah yesterday. It means perfection of midos in mind and in emotions, right? So that's like, high standard. But then even that, it's phrased as Dome la Malach Hashem, which you can still ask, like, why does it have to be that? Why do we require such a high standard for a Rav, especially if everyone needs him? And I can understand l'chadchila, but the Rambam implies even b'diavad. And then why don't we kick this Rav out? Perhaps by using the tools in Hilchos Talmud Torah Perak Zayin. So we'll try to come up with an answer, but I was thinking, like, if we are going to throw in the towel, then I was thinking I want to throw the towel elegantly, okay? And what I mean by that is, like, I was thinking about the easy answer to the question is basically like the whole phenomenon of the halacha, and like explaining, I guess 6 and 7, or not really, mostly 6. So the easy answer is, the Rav is a representative of Torah, and then like he's going to be a bad influence, or it's going to affect bad things, It is a compelling answer, yeah. But here's my problem. My problem is that the pasuk frames it in terms of the I want to support the answer even more. Hold on just 1 second. Which was, I was thinking that the mitzvah of uvosidbak, of clinging to God, and Chazal say, like, how can you cling to God? It means cling to chachamim. So we see that. I mean, if you take a step back, it's an outrageous statement that Judaism or the Torah even goes there. It says you could cling to God, but the way you cling to God is through hanging around Talmidei Chachamim and learning from their midos. So you see that the midos of Talmidei Chachamim are basically a way to connect to God. Like it's a huge thing, But so that'd be like the easy answer. But the problem is, intuitively, I sense that this is specific to seeking, getting Torah from him, and like it has to come down to like the Talmud Torah aspect. So like I just want, if we are going to give up, that's as far as the step that I can take, is like something about specifically the Torah. It doesn't say you should avoid him, even though you should avoid that from Hilchos Deos. But like, yeah. But I wanted to take. So what I wanted to do is whenever I need help, I do go to Café. Okay, and remarkably, I didn't even finish reading him. I just decided to look at him like 5 minutes ago. Remarkably, he brings down he addresses 2 things we brought up. Okay, so if you want to look in Café, it's on page. I'll put it on the screen, but it's on page Reish Pei Vav. The first one is I just found this like 5 minutes ago, so I don't really know I'll show you the line that got me excited. So in footnote Hey on the left at the top, Tzion Hakesef Mishnah Lahahu Demoy Katan Yud Zayin. So in that Gemara there it says Hahu Tzurba Mirabanan. There was a Chacham Dahavu Tzrichile that was needed, the Rabbanan needed him. V'havu Sanu Shumane, and I think it means his reputation was bad. Vishamte Rav Yehuda, and Rav Yehuda put him in exile, or he ostracized him. So you see, he did kick him out. Right. Okay, right? So, but if you look at, I just looked at the Gemara and I saw another interesting thing here. So again, we'll go through this together. Okay, here's the case. Amar Rav Yosef, Tzurba Mirabanan, Avid Dina, oh no, that's not the one. Tzurba Mirabanan, Dahabu Sanu Shumane. So that means Talmid Chacham Echad Shaya Alav Shmuos Ra. So there were rumors around him. Okay, so not necessarily that he had bad midos, but there were rumors around him. Shaya Chashud B'Davar Avera. He was suspected for a Davar Avera. Rashi says Sanu Shumane Shiyotzi in Alav Shmuos Ra. Okay, fine, that's where it gets it from. So it says Amar Rav Yehuda Heichi Le'avid. What should we do with him? L'shamte. Should we ostracize him? Tzrichi le Rabbanan, the Rabbanan need him. Lo l'shamte, if we don't ostracize him, kam mischal shema deshmaya. Oh, so we are worried about Chil Hashem. Then it's going to be Michal Hashem Shemayim. Right. Interesting. Okay, fine. Tzrichi le Rabbanan to asre dahava rabahon. Srichile Rabbanan to Asre, the Rabbanan of his place. Oh, he was their Rav. He was their Rav. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah. All right, fine. So that's the dilemma. Okay, so now check out what the Gemara does. Amar le Rava Bar Chana, I assume. Yeah. Midi Shemiya Lach Behad Amar Baha. So have you heard about this ruling? Amar le Hachi. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, my tichsiv kisifse koin yishmeru das v'tori yivaksu mipiu ki malach Hashem tzvakosu. Im doma harav l'malach Hashem yivaksu Torah mipiv v'im lav al yivaksu Torah mipiv. Shamte Rav Yehuda Shamte Rav Yehuda. So Rav Yehuda put him in nidoi, right? So he did act. So again, we'll have to see if the Rambam. I'm not sure which Rabbi Yehuda this is. Again, I'm really bad with the lineage, genealogy, names, generations of the Chazal. Let's just see if this part's relevant. I don't know if it is. L'sof Ichlash Rav Yehuda. So at the end, Rav Yehuda became weak, right? Or he became sick, whatever. Asu Rabbanan l'shiule be. So the Rabbanan came to ask him, I think, to be. Oh, he says l'shol b'shlomo, to inquire about him. V'asa ihu nami bahadaihu, and he also went. V'asa ihu nami bahadaihu. Uvahu hamanuda gam kain itam. Oh, the guy who got put into nidui was also with him. Kad chazi Rav Yehuda chayach, and when Rav Yehuda saw him, he laughed. I think. Chayach amrle lo mistayach deshamte. Lahu gavra ella achuchi nami chayach bi. So I think he's saying it's not enough that you put the guy in nidui, you also laugh at him. Amrle Menuda. So yeah, the guy who was in nidui said to him, Dayachad shenidisi esa ishahu osi, meaning he's saying himself. Atagam tzachoklai, you're also going to laugh at me. Amrle la b'didach mechaychana. I'm not laughing at you. Ela dechi azlina lahahu alma b'dicha da'asai. But rather, when I go to Olam Haba, la b'didach mechaycha lo b'shalach alayich ani mitzoche. Ela dechi azlina lahahu alma. What is this? Shekasher ani holech laolam hahu. Sameach ani. I don't know what the olam hahu is. I think he's assuming means olam haba when he's going to die. Or it sounds like he's dying. Shafilu legavra kavasecha lo chanifile. So he's saying when I go to olam haba, I will be happy. Why? He's saying la'adam gadol kamocha lo hechanafta lo. I was not flattered by. Okay, meaning like he's saying like basically I'm immune to your presence or whatever.
I'm still laughing at him.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, fine. This is a whole story here. I'm just gonna read it in English to see if this is even relevant. I think we're beyond relevant, but I want to see the end of the story. Reviewed died. The ostracized scholar came to the study hall and said to the sages, "Release me from the decree of ostracism." The sages said to him, "There's no man here as eminent as Rabbi Yehuda who can release you. Rather, go to Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya in Eretz Yisrael, as only he can release you." All right, fine. Yeah, I don't think this is relevant to our sugya. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so that answers one of our questions, right? Which is we'll have to see whether we pass him like that, but we do excommunicate him, right? And I think did you say that that's what it means that we don't, but that maybe that's like what's implied, like we don't Islam, yeah. All right, so that works out. Okay, so now the Doma L'Malach Hashem Tzvakos.
I imagine we'll see that more clearly when the Rambam goes.
Yeah, I think so also. Yeah, right. Right. Okay, so now the question is, what's the idea of Doma L'Malach Hashem Tzvakos?
Why that mashal?
Yeah, why that mashal? Oh, there was the other thing in copy I wanted to show you. So the other thing is the thing I quoted right after that. V'kasav alecha mishnah nimra de Rabbi Yochanan huvad b'moed katan daf yud zayin uvaharbe mekomos b'gemara. All right, fine. Uvachagiga daf tesvav hikshu Rabbi Meir eich kamar Torah mipume de'acher. Right, that was what I was asking about. How did Rabbi Meir learn Torah from the mouth of Acher? V'ha'amar Rabba Bar Chana Amari Mai Tichsiv Kisif Sekoin V'chule. So the answer Amar, I assume this is Rish Lakish. Rabbi Meir Kara Ashkach V'darash. Hat osnacha ushma divrei chachamim v'libacha tashis l'dati. You need something?
Yeah.
Okay. So Rabbi Meir, he found a pasuk and he darshaned it. Hat osnacha, incline your ear, ushma divrei chachamim, and listen to the words of chachamim. V'libacha tashis l'dati, and your mind should focus on my opinion, on my mind. Rabbi Yechanina Amar Behacha, Shimi'i bas uri v'hiti oznecha chule. Okay, fine. So he gives another answer. Imkain kashu krai hadadi. Oh, so there's a contradiction. Shimi bas uri v'hati oznecha. Okay, we got to look at this in context. Sorry. This is in Chagiga Tesvav. Let's find it. Chagiga Tesvav. Is Amud Aleph or Amud Beis? Does it say? Hot. Hot. Okay, there we go. Amar Rish Lakish Rabbi Meir Kra Ashkachei V'Darash. So that's from Mishlei Hadas Nacha Ushma Divrei Chachamim V'Lichatan. Okay. Rav Chanina Amar Mehacha Shimi Bas Uri V'Hati Aznecha V'Shikachi Imach. Let's see what this says. Shimi Bas Uri V'Hati Aznech V'Shikachi Amech Uves Avich. Listen, daughter, and see and incline your ear and forget your people, the house of your father. Kashu krai ahadadi. How's that?
You saying that it's not important thing you shouldn't do that don't forget your nation, the house of your father.
If you incline your ear?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Is that right?
I'm looking.
Otherwise, I don't see that.
Yeah. Doesn't look like there's Rashi. Let's see Steinsaltz. R Qafih, said that. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. That's what it means, right? Is that what was that? That was the first pasuk, right? So he says, hold on a second. Oh, sorry, we didn't read the whole thing. Or Cophic didn't quote the whole thing. I'll blame him. Ladati, ladatam lo nemar el ladati. It doesn't say listen to their das. It says listen to my das. Meaning, even if they're blemished. You should pay attention to God's opinion. Okay, fine. Then the second pasuk implies so I guess it's just a chacham talking, maybe. You have to forget the blemished parts of his Torah. Yeah. Yeah. Kraya hadadi. Sholim in kain kasha kraya hadadi. Kasha maksuvim al zelzeh shemumakor echad lamedim shemuter lilmod rak mechacham shemasav mushlamim. Oh, it's a contradiction to Siftikon Yishmeru Das. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So that implies you shouldn't learn from him unless he's a malach ad Hashem. This one says you can just ignore the bad stuff. Yeah. Okay. So then the answer is lo kasha ha ba'adam gadol ha ba'adam katan. Okay, right. So a great person is capable of learning and just ignoring the bad parts, but adam katan can't. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, yeah, so let's see that. I just want to see, was there Rashi says, yeah, Rashi says here, oh yeah, there was Rashi here. Ladatan lo nemar alma berashia asikinan v'kamar hadas nacha. Oh, so when it says don't incline your ear to their das, it's talking about Rashayim, because that's why it's saying don't listen to them. Hati aznacha lishmoa ve'esma aseim shichachi vel talam diosan. Okay, fine. Gadol is hayodel li zahir shlo yilmod maasav yachol lilmod Torah mipiv. So if he is great in the sense that he knows how to be careful to not learn from his actions, then he could do that. Yeah. Okay. So go back to Caaphah, you're saying. So Caaphah says. Vimkein kasha lama lo chilek rabbeinu bein gadol l'katan k'moshe chilek Gemaras. So why doesn't the Rambam bring down that there's exceptions, right? That if you are great and you can avoid it, then you can learn from the bad guy. Oh, I said that also, right? This is good. This is good. le'inyan zeh. Maybe you'll say we're all katanim. Oh no, I said a different thing. We're all katanim. The opposite. I was saying that we doesn't. Yeah, I was saying this is different. So we're all katanim, and that's why the Rambam doesn't give a matir, right? That's what he's saying. Well, kach sasam rabbeinu. That's why the Rambam doesn't qualify it. Mikomakum kasha shrabbeinu ino omer hadinim hanohagim b'zman hazeh b'vad. Right? Yeah, obviously that's like an answer that would only be given by someone who doesn't understand how to read Rambam. Rambam didn't give these laws only for b'zman hazeh. Ela hadinim she'inahagu b'chol zman afilo achar bias mashiachenu. Bez Hashem. Yeah, I was trying to work in Bim Hira Vemin over there, but it didn't work out. Yeah, Bez Hashem. Yeah. Venira Sherbenu Mipnei Shara Memrod Rabbi Yochanan Shehuva B'Harbe Makomos B'Stam V'Lochilku Ben Gadol Lekatan Gamhu Lochilak. Okay, it seems like Rabbeinu saw the statement of Rabbi Yochanan, which is cited in many places in an unqualified manner, and they don't differentiate between the Gadol and Gadol. Right. Gamhu lochilak. Here he also doesn't differentiate. Okay, so I also would say that only would be said by someone who doesn't know how to learn Rambam, but Kafach clearly knows how to learn Rambam. But like this is it's a halacha l'maaseh book, so you should bring down you don't need the Gemara. I don't accept this answer, right? You don't need I know the Rambam likes to use the Lashon HaGemara, but this is going to affect your halacha l'maaseh. So let's see if he goes on and explains. V'hada amrina b'chagiga sover rabbeinu delon.
I don't even think he was passing though, and not using Gemara.
That he was passing.
Oh,
okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I mean he's passing like a Rabbi Yochanan. Right. He's not passing like this statement here.
Right.
All right, that I accept. Yeah. And regarding the Gemara and Chagiga, so now he's coming back. That's just explaining Rabbi Meir. Well, in Hadavar Kain, but that's not the case.
What's not the case?
Meaning maybe it's not the case that he holds that. Let's see. I'm not sure. Let's see. V'rai l'davar shekshatiritz Reish Lakish Rabbi Meir kra ashkach v'darash b'im haya davar muskam lo haya lo lomar ela ha'ika kra achrina. So if the matter were, this sounds like he's arguing in support, right? It sounds like he's saying if this were actually like a psak, he wouldn't have said Rabbi Meir found a pasuk in Darshan in it. He would have said there is another pasuk, like in a unqualified manner, like he's being belonging to Chus Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir kra ashkach v'chulei mashma dakvana lomer svaraso shel Rabbi Meir hizos v'anan lo svir lan hachi dekvar chilko alav chaverav. Right. So only Rabbi Meir has this heter, and that's how he paskened for himself. V'kasav who's the ayin beis hey mem. Ayin lechem mishnah, yeah. Ayin kasav. All right, we should look this up. Let's bust out the Otsar Roshe Tevos. Otsar Roshe Tevos. Ayin. Hey. Ayin beis hey. Ayin beis. Is it not there? So it must be something else then. It must be ayin must be. Let me try beis hey mem. Yeah. Beis hey mem. Unless it's behagalos maimonios. That's what I would have said. The hey mem is. Is that a gimel? That's a gimel. Beis hey mem. Oh, this is still gonna be the next page. Beis hey mem bir hamila. Yeah, I don't know what it is. All right, so someone says, all right, we did due diligence. Ayin lechem mishnah, v'shach Siman Rishmim Vav Sifkatan Ches Amai Lo Chilak Rabbeinu Ben Gadol Lekatan V'Yafehu Tziyun Hakesef Mishnah Lemoy Katan Yud Zayin Tasham Lahedya Af Shahayu Gedolim Lo Lamdu Mipiv. So meaning the Gemara we said earlier about the guys who had their Rav, even though these were Rabbanan, they still didn't learn from their Rav, right? So the Moed Katan seems to indicate that we don't paskin in a way that is Mechalik being Gadol Katan. Vayin Pirush, is this Pri Chadash? Yeah. Pri Chadash B'Chidusha Tahachi Durabimir Rimon Matzah. This is the one I quoted, right? He found a pomegranate. Pliga Ahad Reish Lakish de Lael. That argues with Reish Lakish above. Ulefizeh Ein Chilak Klal Ben Katan Lagadol. Ein Sham. Wait. What?
I haven't shown them.
Yeah. Okay, fine. V'ayin ratzuf me'ava simin kuflam zayin v'ayin kesef, or whoever that is. Shatiras dedavka talmid chacham korbi meir v'lo stam talmid. Divrei rabbeinu b'talmid. Okay, fine. Yeah. I think this is enough to satisfy us that. Yeah. Okay. So end of the day, we don't have any more insight into the Domel Malach Hashem Tzavakos, right?
We infinite life and we didn't know we had.
Yeah. Hold on just 1 second here. So why would you say that specifically an agent of Hashem? Yeah, let me try this out. Okay, so if you're getting Torah from an agent of Hashem, then this is going to be a corruption of the Ratzon Hashem. So Ratzon Hashem is going to be the thing that Ratzon Hashem that's received in a way that is, tainted by bad midos, like that the Torah is not having this effect on him. That's going to result in a corrupted view of the Ratzon Hashem. And I'm saying that's not because it's going to have a bad influence on you, it's going to be pogam his Torah. Something like that. I think it has to be something like that. Yeah. And that explains also why, it doesn't matter if the entire people need him. Saying that people need him is like saying like this, don't drink that water no matter what, if it is poison, right? And people, what if people really need water? It doesn't matter. Like if the water's poison, it doesn't matter, that's the type of argument that it's giving. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. If we find anything else, we'll try to remember to say it. Now, after this, so I had put it to a vote, okay, if you want to do this or not, all right? So I was walking over here. Oh, so yesterday we looked at the Pirush Mishnah on the Arba Midas Lahocha beis midrash, right? And I was looking at it, and when I was walking here, I was thinking to myself, like, I walk, it's a 10-minute walk each way, and it's freezing outside, and I'm walking, I walk an hour today, right? Like it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, So I was like, I'm getting schar halacha, but I have no idea what that is, And then that got me to thinking of it. And I was thinking, like, is that really true that because it's an unpleasant schar, then I get more schar halacha? Like, is that how schar halacha works? And then I was thinking, what we read yesterday when the Rambam says schar halacha, he says, if you go there and you learn, you're a chassid. And I was like, really? Like the guy who's going to the beis midrash and learning, that's a chassid? Like, I understand he's doing what he's supposed to do. So then I was thinking, like, why don't we just learn what the Rambam says on that mishnah? Not because it's connected with what we're doing, but if we're in the mood to learn it. But if we're not in the mood to learn it, we don't have to learn it.
I would say yes,
okay, that's good. And also, I feel like okay, that's a good justification. And also, because the Rambam quoted our pasuk at the end, it's possible that this is going to change our way of looking at that pasuk. So let's do that. Okay, so this is in on page. Do I have a page? Yeah, Shin Aleph in Avos in that edition, and it's Perak Hey Mishnah Yud Gimel in the Rambam's Mishnayos. I think it's further in the back of the volume. Yeah. Shin Aleph.
No.
Yeah. And another reason I want to do this is the Rambam looks like he has a little essay here. So I'm just curious what it's about. Okay, so let's start with the actual mishnah, Yud Gimel. We'll do the text of the mishnah again. Got it? Arba midos b'holchei lebeis midrash. There are 4 midos of people who walk to the beis midrash. Holich ve'ino oseh, one who goes and doesn't do. Which yeah, do. Is that you mean to? Why would you? Yeah, right. That's great. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and it was like I think like what I have sometimes thought about this is like, let's say like you go there and then, or you make plans to go there, and let's say like shiur's canceled. So that I could see you get schar halicha. That would be like you're actually engaging in the mitzvah, but something prevents you from doing the mitzvah.
I'm planning to go there and sit in the midrash.
Right. Although the Rambam said that sitting in the beis midrash is a mitzvah, right? Asher yoshvei beisecha, when we were doing the
right.
Yeah, but I mean it's still weird. It's still weird, yeah.
Respond for that.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, and then the lashon of osa is weird, right? It should say lo made.
Yeah.
Okay. Schar halicha biyado. Okay, then he gets the reward for going. Osa ve'no holech, if he does but doesn't go, schar maisa biyado. Then he has a schar maisa. So that presumably is the guy who learns at home, right?
Right.
Or outside of the beis midrash, at least, not necessarily at home. Holech be'oseh chasid. If he goes and does, he's pious, or however we want to translate it. Lo holech v'lo oseh rasha, and that's also overly harsh language. He's a rasha. He's a fool. He's a avarian.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at Rambam on the right column. Yud Gimel. Amru beholchei lebeis midrash. Wrote to Lomar behalicha lebeis midrash shish ba arba deos. That in the going to the beis midrash there are 4 deos. What's that footnote say? 93. Okay, that's just quoting deos svaros. Deos svaros. Okay, fine. So opinions, mindsets. Maybe mindsets would be better. Let's see what he says. No, you would think he means like Ramami deos, right? All right. V'chein he's bonin heach kara es hamarbe l'sagel atzmo es hamaalos chasid. Okay. Oh, this is already opening something. Likewise, contemplate how he called one who is excessive in attaining for himself virtues a chassid. Okay, so in other words, like this. You see the move he's making? He's not a chassid because he does this. He's a chassid because he's striving to acquire virtues. Yes, right. He's like managing his deos perfection.
Right.
Yeah. That's good. And then he says, "V'hamis atzel milasaglan la'atzmo rasha." The guy who's lazy in developing his midos is a rasha. Okay, that also makes sense. V'miyadata es hamalos hahigionios v'hamaalos hamidosios v'yadata kol sug mehen. If you know the the intellectual virtues and the ethical virtues, and you know every category from them. I think sug means category. Sug also does mean dross, but I think here it means category. Dross, like impurity, like things that are that tainted. V'im tirtze tomar hayadiyah v'hamasa. And if you want, you can say every category of knowledge and action. V'yadata es hamitzua b'darchei ha'asiyah hanikraim tovos, and you know the middle path in the paths of action, which is called the good things. V'hahosafa al hamitzua me'at asher zeh mimase hachasidim hamafursamim, and you know, and adding to the middle a little bit is one of the behaviors of the chasidim. V'yadata es hatosefes v'hachasaron asher shnehem ra, and you know that addition and subtraction are both bad, meaning if you go to one side or the other. Okay, but one of the extremes is more fit to be called evil. And the other one can be called a chait or an improper action. For example, shaprishus tova muchalektus polisafik. So prishus, controlling your desires, is good without a doubt. Vahataivasanus, and lustiness, right? Being hedonistic, gluttonous is rab hechle. That's very bad. The hedar hergesh b'hanaos, and not having sensory pleasures. Alpha pisha ze ra, even though it's bad, eno k'ta'avat, it's not bad like lustfulness. Ella efshar lomer bo chet o ma'asen bilti nachon. You could just say it's a chet or it's not as bad, right? V'hachariga min haprishus me'at l'tzad ha'hedar ha'hergesh. If you recoil slightly from abstinence or self-control towards the side of like not getting sensory pleasures, zehu min haroy l'shleimim. That is proper for perfected people. Right. So I think the Rambam has a whole thing on this in Shemoneh Perakim, which I forgot if he alluded to this in Hilchos Deos, but that's basically the thing, is that Rambam says the middle path is the best and the extremes are bad, but one of the extremes is always going to be worse than the other. So I think, again, I always find the easiest example is the frugal, spendthrift, and miser, right? So miser is going to be better than spendthrift. Saving money is going to be a better midah than just like being reckless with money, or in I think in cowardice, or I guess courage being the middle one, and then cowardice and rashness, then I think cowardice is going to end up being better. That's what I would think, meaning like the reason why I'm saying this is because we do frame the chacham as Asher Adam Mefached Tamid, and Yira tends to be a better trait. I mean, you can make arguments, whatever. All right. So then he says, Teda kol ha'inyanim ha'elu. When you know all these ideas, I don't know why he's been saying when you know all these ideas. Let's see. Teda, you'll know ki hachorig min haprishus ma'at. Oh, did I read this already? Nikra chasid kmo shikdamnu. Vish also neder hergesh nikra chote. Ulfikach amar ben nazir me'asher chata al hanavish. Oh, that's a good deal. That's why it says for the nazir that he sinned on his soul. Kmo shebiarna beperak arvi, meaning because he abstained from wine. So if you were a alcohol abuser, that would be Russia. But if you are a teetotaler, then that's bad, but it's not. It's a chote. You're not a Russia.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm wondering. Where is he going with this? Right? Yeah. Okay. I mean, it sounds like where he's going is he's trying to explain the chassid thing, but I'm not sure. So right. No, but I think this is my guess. This is needed to explain why the guy who doesn't go to the beis midrash is called a Russia, and not just a chote. Because that's what I said. I would have said it was a chote. Let's see if that's what he says. Based on all these hakdamos, ubiarnu teda eze mibnei adam roy likari bur. Umiha royally kari amaretz, umiha royally kari golem, umiha royally kari chacham, umiha royally kari chasid, umiha royally kari rasha, umiha royally kari chote. Hari elu shiva shemos ne'emarim al shiva suge anashim lafi ma sheyesh bahem min hamalos v'hamigraos hamidosios v'hagionios kamo shekadam b'firosheno. So these are terms that are all used in Perek Chamishi, right? So you'll know how to use all these terms if you know all these things, as we've explained. Okay, fine. Upamim markivin shemos. Lefish tchunos ha'adam k'gon shehaya adam sheish bo migraos midosios v'hu nikra rasha k'mo shebiarnu. Sometimes they will combine these terms based on the personalities of these people. For example, a person who has imperfections of midos will be called a rasha, as we've explained. V'hayulo ma'alos hagionios shemishtamesh behem lahirav zehu hanikra etzel chachamim rasha aron. And if he has intellectual perfections which he uses for evil, that is what the chachamim call Russia arum, a clever Russia. V'im haya Russia umazik libnei adam klomer shemichlal mikraosav hamidosios devarim hamazikim libnei adam kagon ha'azus v'ha'agzaris v'yotz ben ha'izeh nikra Russia ra. Never heard that before. Russia ra is a bad Russia, not one of those good Rushaim. That's if he is a Russia and he harms people through cruelty and brazenness and stuff. Cheinim hayulo ma'alos higionios umigraos midosios, if he has intellectual virtues but ethical imperfections, shemazik behem, which cause damage, harizeh nikra chacham lehera. That's the personality we're talking about, right? Intellectual perfections, but bad midos. Chacham lehera, that's a Rav Sheinu Hagun. Kmo shamar hakasav b'mi shezeh tiuram chachamim hema lehera ulehetiv lo yadu. I think that's from Yirmiyahu. Let's see. Yep, Yirmiyahu. That they are chachamim for evil and they don't know to do good. Klomar shema alosam hahigionios. They use their intellectual virtues for evil, not for good. V'ha'adam shnikbatu bo kol ha'malos bichlalusam ha'higionis v'amidosios ad shelo timtza mala higionis v'amidosis she'ena bo harzeh ma'at hu sheyimtza. So the guy who has all of the intellectual and ethical perfections, and you won't find any intellectual or ethical imperfection in him, that's very rare. V'ha'filosofim omrim ki mitzius adam kazeh rachok v'kasha. The philosophers say, it's funny how I used to quote the philosophers, that the existence of such a man is very improbable and difficult, but it's not impossible. V'im yimsa him korimoso adam eloki. That's interesting. If they find him, they call him a divine person. I didn't know we used that term. Oh, philosophers. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's, there's a, I'm not going to record this. I don't want to get crucified today. Okay, recording now that we're done with our blasphemy. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So he's called an Adam Eloki by the philosophers. V'kach karaso lishonenu ish Elokim. Oh, we do say ish Elokim. See, but Eloki is different. That's saying like that. That makes me gives me a man of God, not a godly man. It makes me extremely uncomfortable to make God into an adjective. I know that certain sects of Judaism are very comfortable saying this is a godly this and a godly that, but yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. I hear. Let me pause again. Okay. Va'ani omer, and I say, we got a rare Rambam saying ani omer. Va'ani omer, sh'adam shezeh tiuro yikare gam malach Hashem. Oh, good. So this paid off. This guy's also called, it might be the same idea that we read at the end of this yesterday. Right. He's also called a malach Hashem. K'moshe nemar v'yal malach Hashem b'chulei. Like it says, and the malach Hashem went up. Is that Gideon? Yeah. Right, that's true. Right. V'amru hafilosofim ki min hanimna shimtza adam hakolel kol hamigraus kulam ad sofam amidosis v'higionios ad shalotim zeboshim ala klal. So the philosophers all agree that it is impossible to find a guy with all imperfections, ethical and logical and intellectual, to the point where you can't find any virtue at all. Yimtza afal pi shezeh rachok harihim korim oso sabui va'apui. I bet those are Arabic words. Shem klali l'chol chayos hateref and shem klali limin hanachashim ha'arisian. So like wild animals or scorpion, arachnids, scorpions, whatever. So if you find a guy who has, even though it's improbable, then that's what you call him. Mishmos balei hachaim hamazikim. V'kach karu Shlomo dov shakul. Okay, hold on a second. So that's why Shlomo calls him a bear. What was that? So I don't read that. Is it Pasuk Mishlei? If it is, then I don't read it the way the Rambam is reading it. Yeah, Pasuk Mishlei. So the shakul, the way that the Mefarshim I've learned that Pasuk say means like deprived of her cubs. But I think he's learning shakul in a different way. But now I said, because I gave a shiur last week on Yosef being seduced by Potiphar's wife, and the midrash says that the midrash that says that it's a punishment says, I'm going to send the bear against you. And we were like, why is she being called a bear? That's why, because she had all these bad midos, apparently. All right. Hine gam elech hamisha shemos murkavim mehem arba'a l'gnai v'hem Rasha arum v'Rasha ra v'chacham lahira v'dov shakul. Okay, those are the combo names. V'echad l'shvach she'ein l'mala mimenu l'shevach she'ein l'mala mimenu. The highest one who ish Elokim o malach Hashem. So that's it. So okay, fine. Yeah, exactly. This is what we read yesterday. This is So this really, all this does is it strengthens our question, saying you shouldn't learn Torah unless the Rav is absolutely, totally perfect. What kind of halacha is that? That's unrealistic. Yeah.
I also want to point out that it shed more light on the Rambam than it did on the.
It totally did. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And it ends there. He doesn't even explain Sfar Halicha. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah. Okay, fine. Well, I didn't get, so I am glad we did this now, but just did not give us anything on that. I do want to actually look at the pasuk he quotes about Gideon. I think it's Gideon. Shoftim beis Aleph. I want to see if the Rambam, by Pinchas. No, is that look at footnote. So on the previous page, Shoftim beis Aleph, footnote 1. Uveksav Yad, Frankel, I think, or no, Frankel. You see it? Mosif LDE hu Pinchas, Shehu Pinchas. Urei mor nevuchim chelik Aleph perak tesvav v'chelik beis perak vav sham perak membez hevi lashon chazal b'vayikra rabba perak Aleph Shehu Pinchas. So that's all talking about who this guy was. But I just want to see if the Rambam talks about the term Malach Ad Hashem from that pasuk, and then I also want to see if the Rambam comments on Ish HaElokim, right? Where do we use that? I know Eved Hashem is what we call Moshe, but I feel like there's a pasuk we know of that says Ish HaElokim.
We can have Noah.
Maybe. You want me to get you here? Let me get you a Tanakh, which is right back here. Oh no, did I put the Tanakh there? Yeah, I put the Tanakh there. Did we use that for Moshe at one point?
No, man. I
feel like we do, but hold on.
My plan is mostly enjoying right now. Yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm looking at Shoftim beis Aleph. Shoftim, another small Shoftim beis Aleph. That's what we did. More than so he just quotes the same things that Caaphas quoted. 1:15.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to look it up in Al HaTorah. Ish HaElohim. Elohim. In Al HaTorah. So that Noach is not the one. Ish Elohim. Oh, it is Moshe. I knew it was Moshe. Ish Elohim. Lamed Daled Aleph. Let me just see if the Rambam quotes that anywhere. Lamed Daled. Lamed Daled or Lamed Gimel? What did I just say? Lamed Gimel. Yeah, it is Lamed Gimel. I said the wrong thing. And it looks like Rambam does not quote that. That's too bad. Yeah. Right. So your Rav has to be completely perfect with no imperfection whatsoever. And I'll tell you what's even funnier about that. Here's even more difficult. Okay. Can you pass me that Pirush Mishnayos? So the in Pirush Mishnayos, I think it's the 8th parak. The Rambam says, oof. We're gonna have a nice steer right here, I think. If I can find it. Hold on. Pause this. Long silence. So I can say more blasphemy. Okay, so this is in Shemoneh Perakim Perak Shvi'i, where he's talking about the veils, which are the imperfections of midos. So he says, "V'da shekol navi eno misnabe ela achar sheniknu lo kol hamalos hahigionios v'rov hamalos hamidosios v'hachamuros shebehen." You can't become a navi unless you have all intellectual virtues and the majority of or abundance ethical perfections and the most important of them. V'hu amram ein hanevuah shor el al chacham gibor v'ashir. This is what the Rambam means when he says that nevuah only descends upon one who is chacham gibor and ashir. Chacham hu kol hamalas ha'higionos b'li safek. Chacham means all intellectual perfections without a doubt. V'ashir himin hamalas hamidosios. Ashir is with the ethical virtues, klomer ayin tova, generosity. The fishem koring lebal ayin tova ashir. V'hu amram b'hagdaras ha'ashir ezuhi ashir hasameach b'chalko. Klomer shum mistapek b'meh shehimtzi lo hazman enu mitztar al ma shelo himtzi lo. So you need to be generous and also like content with what you have. V'chein gibor gam hu min hamalas midosios. Gibor is also one of the ethical perfections. Klomer shum madrich es kochosav behetem lemachshavach. He guides his faculties in line with his thoughts. This comes from in order to be a navi, you don't have to have all ethical perfections. He's using the same lashon to the point where you don't have any imperfection at all. Shlomo was a navi. Oh, we gotta stop learning Mishnah because Shlomo didn't have all the perfections. Okay, we see explicitly that he had bad midos, a bad midah. He had taivasnos, he had taiva, which was having a lot of women, a lot of wives. This comes from taivasnos. It says explicitly what his fate was. Navi, he was a Navi. Amar li davar tzur Yisrael. U'mitzanu bal lev kasha. He was very bal lev kasha. V'alfa pi shenishtamish b'kach b'goyim uv'harikas hakofrim. Even though he used this for waging war against nations and killing kofrim, v'haya rachman li Yisrael. He was merciful to the Jews. Hare bir b'divrei yom Hashem lo matzu roy lebinyan beis midrash b'glal rov harugav. Hashem didn't find him fit to build the beis midrash because of the people he killed. Amar lo as ata tivne beis lishmi ki damim rabim shafachta. Umsan leiliyahu zal. So hard. This one's the hardest one. Midas akas, but I thought kas was like the worst one. You know. V'afa pi shenishtamish b'kofrim v'aleim hayakoes. Even though he used it against kofrim and that's who he was angry at. Hare biru chachamim zal shad Hashem silko. Hashem removed him from his position. V'amarlo she'ein roy lebnei adam mishish bo min hakinoi kmoshish b'cha lefi shehu ye'avdem. It's not proper for a person to have that type of zealotry like you do, because then you'll destroy them. Shmuel charad mishal. That's interesting. Shmuel was afraid of Shaul. Yaakov nisyara mipikishas Esav. Okay, all these bad midos. Kol hamidos ha'elu v'kiyot behem him hamasachim shal hanavim olav shalom. These were all the veils of the Nevi'im. Uv'chol mi she'ein shahaya bo mehem shtei midos or shlosh she'einem memutzas kol shabyaron v'perak arvi omrim alav shehu ra'a es Hashem me'acharei shnei mesachim or shlosha. So you can have 2 or 3 bad midos and still see Hashem from behind that. Al titma al kain shechesron b'mixas midos b'ma'at b'malas hanevuah. Don't be surprised if you'll see a few midos imperfections of people who are on the level of a nevuah. Okay, now he says the kas does remove it. Okay, fine. So big problem, right? That to be a navi, you can have midos imperfections, but to learn Torah or to be a rav, you need to be totally perfect. So what do we conclude from here, which is hard, that exactly. I mean, I think what this is. I think what we have to say. Okay, and this I wouldn't have said this, but it must be. Yeah, it must be like this: that the Rambam in the Pirush Mishnayos in Avos 5:13 is defining what the pasuk means when it says Malach Hashem Tzedakos. Right. But la halacha is just holding it up as a gold standard that like has a sliding scale that like you have to like weigh, and it's hyperbole. Like he needs to be like, you know, like. Okay, how far are you saying that? I'm saying that. How far down the hill from the standard are you going? I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like that. Yeah. Same high standard as total perfection, but mostly perfection does seem to me what standard is. Sorry, let's say the last part again.
I think mostly perfected.
Mostly perfected, right.
Wow,
Yeah. I mean, again, clearly we're going to keep on learning Mishnah and Tehillim and Shmuel,
Right.
and man, that is that's difficult. I definitely want to ask this to people who know Rambam, and it's funny that well, I guess we didn't finish reading the chavurah, so we can't say whether he did or didn't bring it down. Okay, let's in the last 3 minutes just read this so we can set it up for next week. Okay, Keita Malamdin, how do we teach? Okay, so now it gets into the procedural aspects of the learning. Harav Yoshev Barosh, the Rav sits at the head. Talmidim lafanav mukafin atara. The mukafim sit around him in a crown-like shape, right, a semicircle. Kadeshi yihu kulan roin es harav of shomin devarav, so that they all see the Rav and hear his words. Right, so this is an argument for the Zoom grid feature, right, that the Rav should see all of their faces and they should all see the Rav. V'lo yeshiv harav al hakisei val talmidim al karka. The Rav should not sit on a chair with the talmidim on the ground. Ella o hakol al haaretz o hakol al kisas. That's an interesting halacha. Either all of them should be sitting on the ground or all of them should be sitting on chairs.
How
was what?
Wasn't that like you guys were thinking all those?
Oh, you're right. It does say that. So that's just a figure of speech. Right. Yeah. That's just got to be a figure of speech. Then. Yeah. Well, let's see. Uvarishona haya harav yoshev v'hatalmidim omdin. Oh, so it's the opposite. It's fine. Early in the beginning, the Rav would sit and the talmidim would stand. But then after churban bayis sheni, then they all became accustomed to teach while their talmidim sat. So that's interesting. Interesting that he brings down the history of this, right? Given the fact that, like,
I would like to look up that. It's in Avos, right?
Yeah, in Avos, yeah. So I think I looked this up on a recent Shabbos when the Rambam quoted that thing. I think it's in the first parak, and I don't think the Rambam explains that. I'm just going to check really quickly. Is in the. If I can't find it immediately, then I will have to look later. Not in the first parak. I'll just look it up on the thingy. Torah. Misavik ba'afar. It is in Avos. It is in Avos 1:4. Avos 1:4. Rambam. Yeah, he only comments on the first clause. Yeah. All right, so that'll be for next week then.
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm glad we spent another day on this, and I'm glad we found stuff, even if it increased our questions. All righty. Yeah. See you tomorrow, Shimon. Hopefully.
See you tomorrow.
Or tonight. I don't know if you're coming to any of the gym tonight, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I have a final tonight, so
okay.
I'll try and make it if I'm done with the final.
Either way, hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you. Yeah.